We have David Resnick here, and he is a friend of mine. I've known him for a little over a year, almost 2 years now. And he is an entrepreneurial soul, has many great ideas, but he's going to share with us a project that he's been working on with regard to social support and stuttering. So without further ado.
Thanks, guys. So, even though the main thing I'll be talking about is an organization that I started called Stutter Social, I guess the bit that this talk is really about is how people just really enjoy connecting to each other through empathic resonance. Yeah, I noticed on your sign that's a core tenet of yours here in this group, and it's something that I never really experienced until I attended the national conference of the National Stuttering Association in 2009. And all of a sudden, for the first time ever, I was around other people who stuttered. There were hundreds of them. And without even saying a word to each other, we just, there's this clicking, there's this instant family that you have, because there's just something that you can tell about the other person. Somehow, you are empathically resonating based on this very, in a lot of cases, significant part of yourselves. Because you're a person who stutters, it has a certain effect on a lot of things about the development of your personality, about your communications style, about how you tackle obstacles, about just how you greet a person and how you set yourself up for an introduction, how you hold a conversation. Now, it affects so many things. It affects you constantly, how you go about your day, thinking about how am I going to, ask a girl out who I have a crush on. Is she going to laugh at me? I have a job interview next week. Like, should I talk about the fact that I stutter? Like, I don't know. It's kind of embarrassing, but it would help to ease any tensions about trying to hide it. And, there's just all these things that are constantly in your head all day long. And so you come together, hundreds of people who stutter. There's this palpable buzz that's just connecting everybody. And the feeling is incredible. You feel as though you're welcomed and supported by everybody around you. And there's a super intense connection for 5 days, and then everybody's gone back to their hometowns. Now, this National Association of People Who Stuttered does have local chapters throughout the country, dozens of them. But they only meet maybe once per month, and if it's at a day and time that you can't attend, well, you're out of luck. And these groups have between 5 and 20 people per chapter. And after the conference in 2011, there was a particularly tight bond that a lot of, when I say a lot of us, I mean like over 100 of us as like a group established. And I got depressed after I went home. I was like, something is missing. I don't have this feeling of support and connection that I had at the conference. And I'm like, let's have a video chat where we're just like hanging out as friends and talking to each other. So at least we can kind of recreate some of that conference magic. And so I posted on Facebook and I tagged it, 50 people, and we, attempted to get on Skype and like have this chat, but it was really tough because you had to friend people first on Skype, and some people have their AV problems and with like their computer and their webcam. And I'm like, no, this is just like the idea here is good, but the process for making it happen is not. So a couple of us who were very technology oriented were like, okay, what about this other technology? And we organize a calendar that can have sign-ups, and all that people need is a link to just click it, and then they can join a video chat. And we're like, that makes a lot of sense. Let's do it. So we started Stutter Social, intending it first for our friends, and then, you know, it quickly became this way to stay in touch and connected to other people who stutter, even if you can't be in person. So what we're talking about is using Google Hangout. So some of you may have used this already. The person who's talking automatically gets focused in the center of the screen. Everybody else is hanging out, you know, in these thumbnails on the bottom, but it's active video. And here's a host in a Hangout, a Stutter Social host who's kind of just like a moderator and keeping everybody involved and making sure there isn't any abuse. The Hangouts kind of turned into self-help meetings. Because of course, if you get people together who are all connecting about a certain issue that they have or certain challenges that they have, well, it becomes a supportive thing. Well, I was trying to, you know, I've been a covert stutterer. That means someone who tries to hide the fact that they stutter in the workplace, and I want to come out. Like, how do I do that? You know, and then other people can answer and support them. So I have here
Pastor, have you?
It starts the right way. I have a couple of clips that I recorded from Hangouts to get an idea of the kinds of conversation that happen in them. So this is one that in particular is around acceptance. Something interesting in Stutter Social is that our audience is global because it's internet based, and so this is a guy in China who, you know, in general in his society there is not a lot of acceptance around stuttering, and he's talking about his own family and the fact that his father for a long time hadn't been accepting. So
Pastor, have you been to see any therapist?
Yeah, I've actually had 11 speech therapists in 8 years, which is a lot. And most of them were terrible. And I've actually had one who was fantastic, and she, like, on the first day was like, I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to help you accept it. And she has, and actually I'm seeing her again soon. And she's great.
That's good. I just want to thank you for you can go to the national TV, and you can stand up there, and you can speak for all the starters, because I think for other people who don't stutter, they don't really understand why we starters say come say some sentence. Even in my family, my father in the past he sometimes when I say something stutter, and he will laugh at me. I know he didn't mean that. I just I just realized that because he didn't know anything about the stutter, so I just want to thank you.
Wow. Yeah, that's so sweet.
Context here, there was an episode of the ABC TV show, What Would You Do? That was about stuttering. So it's kind of this like candid camera thing. They set up a person who stutters as ordering in an ice cream shop, and then like seeing how people respond as the people who work in the ice cream shop are instructed to make fun of the stutterer. And so we contacted this person who stutters, who was in the TV show, and got her to do a special question answer. So that was the context there.
People who
I'm going to skip over that one. Skip over this. There's a lot of research that shows that self-help activities help a person who stutters, even if it's not about becoming fluent. Oftentimes it's about accepting your stutter, decreasing anxiety, having an increased sense of integration in your whole self. So the major themes of the support aspect of the Hangouts are you can socialize with other people who stutter. You know, we have a lot of people from remote areas of the world who have an internet connection, who've never even seen, spoken to, heard another person who stutter. They come on, it's like, whoa, it blows their minds. We develop a sense of community in our own Hangouts. We host them 4 times a week. And so there's a lot of regulars who come back time and again, and you can really see how people are supporting each other and evolving. There's a lot of post-activity disclosure that occurs. That means that a lot of people who were too embarrassed and shy to talk about that they're stuttering even to their family members in their workplace, all kinds of places, are going out and doing that after spending just a couple of sessions in Stutter Social, thereby increasing the circle of empathic resonance. Because if you're not open and talking about it to your family and your closest people in your life, it's cutting off a certain channel of communication there. Shifting roles. Oftentimes people who stutter take on this kind of shy, disaffected role. And this is an empowering activity, so that they come out of it in, there was a guy who always, it was a guy in India, he's going to be 23, college student. He always dreamed of writing songs, but he was like, oh, I'm too afraid of stuttering and singing. And so, he went from this guy who was like totally repressed to where, he's posting a song on Facebook every week now. There's a lot of encouragement and inspiration. As you just saw in that clip, there was a girl who stuttered openly on national TV, who talked about her therapy experience, and it was very inspiring to someone else. Sharing of feelings. Sometimes you just have to vent, and it helps to have people to listen, especially who will really listen to you and are not trying to speed you up or correct your speech or all kinds of things. And it's a safe environment. It's a place where everyone is given as much time as they need to get out all of their words. And that's something that you really do not have at all any other place in your life. even amongst friends and family, you don't have it because there's always this like little pressure thing. So it makes such a difference in a person's whole breathability of their soul as they are allowed to take as long as they like. You can stutter for 3 minutes straight, and it's happened. It's happened, and that's totally fine. A lot of people come to the Hangouts as a part of their speech therapy programs. Their therapists want to socialize them to other people who stutter and to gain a lot of those benefits that we talked about. So if a person is trying to become more fluent or more accepting through therapy, a self-help group really helps that. Just a couple of like of bullet points. If you're going to conferences or in-person your meetings, well, no travel costs here, no travel time either. It's available 4 times a week across time zones, so almost anybody can make it. You choose your own safe environment, you know, in your bedroom, your living room. I've gone on Hangouts from canyons, you know, in the middle of the country and been like, hey guys, here I am. You can pop in for 10 minutes if you want. You don't have to stay the whole hour and a half, 2 hours. Some cons, you know, obviously you need internet and a computer, or at least a phone. A number of people are not quite tech savvy enough. Even though it's very easy, it still is a barrier to entry for a lot of people. And actually, something super interesting is that a lot of people have gone on to meet in person after meeting on Stutter Social. Although still, it's difficult to do so if you're meeting someone in Australia and you're in the US. It can be tough. So here's a couple of quick testimonials just to hear it.
I go as Bill Royce.
The mountains
and I'm
stutterers.
from Montgomery Village, Maryland, which is outside of Washington, about 25 miles outside of Washington, D.C., in the United States. It's one big support group, a global support group, and that's what I love about it. It's enabled me to connect with other individuals who stutter, and at least with 2 people who I've met in chats, we've continued through Skype or Facebook to talk to each other. They've been very valuable friendships and conversations. What do I get out of Stutter Social? I get a feeling of contact, the ability to contact with other people who stutter. It's particularly good for me because in addition to having some speech challenges, I also have physical challenges, and I'm disabled, and I really can't get around. I can hobble a little bit around my apartment, but I can't walk very well. In this way, I don't have to leave my apartment. I love it, and I'm a fan, and I'm addicted. And I thank you very much for doing it.
One more testimonial.
My name is Jacqueline Revere. I'm from Los Angeles, and I live in New York City right now. My favorite thing about Stutter Social would probably be the topics that you don't expect to come up, but they somehow still relate to stuttering, but like there's some of the same topics that anyone would talk about, but there's a new perspective that only you can relate to with who stutter. And so I enjoy those a lot. I've found it now to have become like a support group. Once I've done a Stutter Social, I feel like there's other people who go through what I go through, and so the world's not so small anymore.
So that's really it. It's that facilitation of empathic resonance that transforms people. It transforms communities, and makes our world a better place. So thank you for listening, and hope that that we can continue the conversation.